Stop apologizing for existing. You walk into rooms like you're asking for permission, like you're waiting for someone to nod before you speak, like your voice, your presence, your fire needs a green light from the world. No, that ends now. You don't owe anyone a smaller version of you. You don't need to round off your edges so you fit into their weak expectations. You weren't born to be soft clay. You were built like stone, cut sharp, made to hold weight, made to last. And yet somewhere along the way, you were told to shrink, to lower your volume, to tone it down, and you listened. You listened because you didn't want to offend, because you didn't want to be the problem. Because somewhere deep down, you thought they knew better than you, but they didn't. You are not a problem. You are not too much. You are not a mistake. You are a force, a leader, and you were never meant to beg for your place in the world. You were meant to own it. This world, this battlefield, it doesn't respect passivity. It doesn't reward people who wait quietly in the corner hoping to be seen. It sees strength. It follows certainty. It bows to those who claim their space without apology. So if you want to be respected, then stop explaining your fire to people who fear the flame. Stop diluting your purpose to make others comfortable. Stop negotiating with mediocrity. You were born to lead. That means you will make people uncomfortable. Good. That's what real leaders do. They don't follow the herd. They cut through it. You weren't built to blend in. You weren't wired for silence. You weren't created to follow weak standards and fake smiles. You were born to set a standard, one so high it makes others stretch just to keep up. Every time you apologize for who you are, you dig a grave for your own power. Every time you downplay your gifts, you disrespect the grind that forged them. And every time you shrink to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be respected. And that starts when you stop asking for approval and start acting like you belong. Own your space. Own your voice. Walk in like you built the floor. Speak like your words carry weight, because they do. And when the world looks at you sideways for standing tall, good, let them, because strength always makes the weak flinch. This is your life. This is your time. No more apologies. No more shrinking. No more waiting. You exist, and that is enough. Now show the world what happens when a warrior stops holding back. You can't lead if you always need approval. A man who chases applause will never lead. He'll follow the noise. He'll bend to the crowd. He'll change his direction every time someone frowns, every time someone doesn't clap. And that's not leadership. That's slavery. Slavery to opinions, to likes, to validation. You want to be strong, then you need to move in silence, because real confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need the world to agree. It doesn't ask for claps before it acts. It moves with purpose, quiet, relentless, untouchable. But if you need permission, if you need a crowd to nod before you take the first step, then understand this: you've already lost, because the world will never fully approve. Someone will always disagree. Someone will always doubt. And if their doubt breaks you, if their silence weakens you, then your power was never yours to begin with. It was theirs. You can't lead from the back row. You can't inspire from the shadows of insecurity. Leadership demands courage, the kind that doesn't wait for backup, the kind that moves first, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. Do you want to know where real strength is built? Not on stages, not in applause, but in the quiet, in the dark, in the mornings no one sees, in the nights when you keep going, not because anyone told you to, but because you said so. That's where the leader is forged. You keep asking, am I enough? You keep waiting for someone to say you're ready. But no one's coming. No one's handing you a certificate. No one's giving you permission. You want to be something. Then be it, without the noise, without the approval, without the applause. You already know who you are. You already know what you're capable of. You don't need another compliment. You need action, ruthless, disciplined, silent execution. That's how leaders are made, not in comfort, not in attention, but in the grind no one sees. The man who moves without needing to be seen. That man is dangerous because he can't be controlled. He can't be swayed by flattery. He leads not to be admired, but because it's his duty, and people follow him not because he begged for their loyalty, but because his presence demands it. So ask yourself, do you want to impress them? Or do you want to lead them? Because those two roads don't run together. One makes you addicted to approval. The other requires you to walk alone, sometimes doubted, often misunderstood. But that's the price of strength. Stop waiting, stop seeking, stop begging. The world doesn't owe you applause, and you don't need it. You were built to move, silently, fiercely, relentlessly, and the day you stop needing approval is the day you finally take the lead. People-pleasing is just fear in disguise. You're not being nice. You're being afraid. That fake smile, that hesitant yes, that silence when you should have spoken. It's not kindness, it's fear. Fear of being disliked. Fear of rocking the boat. Fear of rejection, but here's the truth. Fear dressed up as kindness still controls you. You say yes when you want to say no. You overextend, you bite your tongue. You bend so others don't have to feel uncomfortable. But every time you do, you betray yourself. And betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it comes from within. From the version of you that wants to be accepted so badly, it's willing to lie just to fit in. But you weren't built to fit in. You weren't born to be everyone's favorite. You were born to be real, and real is rare. Real offends, real gets judged, real gets left out sometimes, but real also commands respect. And that respect starts with self-respect. You can't earn that by being a doormat. You think saying no is rude. You think putting yourself first is selfish. Good. Let them think that, because every strong boundary feels uncomfortable at first to you and to them. But boundaries aren't walls, they're shields, and they protect what matters, your time, your peace, your integrity. Fear is the root of people-pleasing. You fear being alone, so you keep the wrong company. You fear conflict, so you tolerate disrespect. You fear rejection, so you become whoever they need you to be. But fear doesn't free you, it enslaves you. It puts chains on your mouth, on your choices, on your soul. And let's get one thing straight, you don't negotiate with fear. You don't coddle it. You don't rationalize it. You destroy it relentlessly through action, through discipline, through uncomfortable truth. You want to grow, then be willing to be disliked. Be willing to stand alone. Be willing to walk away. That's the cost of self-respect, and it's not easy. But comfort isn't the goal. Freedom is. And freedom demands courage. Look around. The strongest people you know, they're not the most liked. They're the most clear. They know who they are. They know what they'll tolerate. They know what they stand for. And they don't apologize for it. That's not arrogance, that's ownership. So stop calling it kindness when it's really fear. Stop calling it patience when it's really avoidance. Be honest and then be bold, because people-pleasing may keep the peace for a while, but it will wage a silent war inside you forever. Make a choice, their comfort or your strength. You can't have both. Choose the hard road. Say what you mean, stand your ground, and kill the need to be liked before it kills who you really are. Disrespect yourself, and everyone else will too. You teach people how to treat you, not with your words, but with your actions, with what you allow, with what you tolerate, with how you show up or don't. If you constantly shrink, constantly apologize, constantly step aside so others can take the lead. Don't act shocked when they walk all over you. That's the lesson you taught them. You think staying quiet makes you humble. Think again. You think letting things slide makes you strong. No. That's not strength. It's fear hiding behind politeness. And people smell it. The world doesn't give respect for free. It gives it to those who demand it, through discipline, through action, through the refusal to be disrespected. Every time you lower your standard just to avoid conflict, you send a message, I don't matter enough. And people believe that message, they mirror it, they test your limits, and when you have none, they take advantage, not always out of cruelty, but because they can, because you never drew the line. If you don't value your own time, why would anyone else? If you don't honor your own words, why would they listen when you speak? If you don't show up with conviction, don't expect the world to follow you. Respect starts within. It starts in the way you carry yourself when no one's watching. It starts in the things you don't allow anymore. Raise your standards and then enforce them ruthlessly. That means saying no without guilt. That means walking away from people who cross the line, no matter how long they've been in your life. That means standing your ground even if your voice shakes. Because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You want to be respected, then act like someone who respects themselves. That means discipline. That means consistency. That means protecting your energy like your life depends on it. Because it does. When you operate with low standards, you don't just let others down, you let yourself down. And that's where decay starts. That's where weakness grows, not from failure, but from tolerated disrespect, day after day. But here's the flip side. The second you start respecting yourself, the world changes. People treat you different. They listen when you speak. They think twice before crossing you, not because you yelled, not because you demanded, but because your presence commands, because you've made it clear. You're not here to be walked on. So if you've been wondering why people don't treat you right, look inward. Look at the boundaries you set, or the ones you didn't. Look at how often you put yourself last and called it loyalty. That's not noble. That's self-betrayal. From this moment forward, stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for having standards. Set the bar, and if they can't reach it, good. Let them fall off. You're not lowering it anymore. Not for them, not for anyone. Confidence isn't given. It's built in battle. You don't wake up one day and feel powerful. You don't read a quote and suddenly believe in yourself. Confidence isn't gifted to you. It's not passed down or wished upon. You earn it, and you earn it in the fire, when it's hard, when it hurts, when everything inside you wants to run, and you stand your ground anyway. Confidence is built when you say no, even when your voice trembles. When you set a boundary that costs you people, when you take the hit but keep your back straight, that's where it grows, in the silence, in the pressure, in the moments no one claps for you, because they're not supposed to. That's not why you do it. You do it because it's who you are. It's easy to feel strong when everything's going right, when people praise you, when the road is smooth, but that's not where confidence is forged. That's comfort, and comfort doesn't create warriors. The battlefield does. The place where you get knocked down, dragged through the mud, and left alone, that's where the real ones are made. You walk alone not because you want to, but because you must. Because the path you've chosen isn't for the weak, it's not for the people pleasers, it's not for the ones chasing applause, it's for the one who knows his mission and executes it, no matter the cost. And it will cost you friends, opportunities, validation, sometimes even sleep, because confidence doesn't come free. It's purchased through pain, through discipline, through the cold mornings you show up anyway, through the nights where you doubt everything, but still move forward. When you choose yourself, it won't always feel good. Sometimes it'll feel like breaking, but that's part of the process. You bleed to become. You suffer to transform, and every time you honor your standards, every time you stay true to what you said you'd do, you build another brick in the fortress of confidence, brick by brick, day by day. Battle after battle, that's why most people never build it, because they avoid the battle, they seek comfort, they choose fake peace over real power, but not you. You're in the trenches, you're fighting for something bigger. And that fight is the proof that you're not just wishing for strength, you're earning it. So no, confidence isn't given, no one can hand it to you, you have to bleed for it. You have to be willing to stand when everything inside you wants to fall. You have to fight like hell for yourself, especially when it would be easier to quit. That's the price. And if you're willing to pay it, then one day you'll walk into any room, any situation, and you won't need to say a word. The way you carry yourself will speak for you. Confidence built in battle always does. Self-love is a weapon. Load it daily, not vanity, not ego, not empty affirmations whispered into the mirror. Real self-love is forged in discipline, in honor, in the quiet, unshakable respect you hold for yourself. It's not loud. It doesn't need a spotlight. It's the steel in your spine when no one's clapping. It's the standard you enforce when no one's watching. You've been told to love yourself, but no one told you what that actually means. It's not about pampering, it's not about comfort. It's about responsibility, accountability, holding the line for yourself when everything around you tries to break it. You don't wait until you feel worthy, you act like you're worthy, and the feeling comes later. You show up, you keep your word, you say no when it costs you, you protect your time like it matters, because it does. That's self-love, that's power. Every morning you wake up, you're entering a war, not with the world, but with yourself, the part of you that wants to quit, that wants to compromise, that wants to settle. And if you don't come armed with self-respect, that voice wins, you lose, not because you weren't capable, but because you forgot who you are. Loving yourself means doing the hard thing, the right thing. Even when it hurts, it means feeding your mind with truth, not lies. It means standing up for yourself, even if no one else claps. Because if you don't have your back, who will? You think someone's going to save you. No, this is on you, all of it, and that's not a burden, that's freedom. Self-love isn't soft, it's not passive, it's brutal honesty. It's looking yourself in the eye and saying, I will not let you go to waste. It's choosing the gym when you want the couch, the book instead of the scroll, the truth instead of the excuse. And you make that choice not once, but daily, because the world will try to tear it from you, piece by piece, voice by voice, opinion by opinion. And your only defense is the one you build within. You don't rise by chance, you rise by choice, and those choices, stacked in silence, become armor, confidence, conviction, the kind that can't be faked, the kind that can't be broken. You want freedom, then respect yourself enough to fight for it. Fight for your peace, fight for your discipline, fight for the vision you carry inside. Every day, load that weapon. Not with hate, but with self-love, focused, fierce, relentless, because when you walk into the world fully armed with it, you stop needing validation. You stop needing approval. You stop begging for scraps from people who don't even know your value. And you start moving like someone who's already won. Self-love isn't a feeling, it's a choice, it's a weapon. Load it, use it daily.